To KZN now. Operational issues at the Durban port has contributed to its ranking as one of the worst performing on the continent. Transnet, the port's operator, says contributing factors include floods, the July unrest, a cyber attack and the COVID-19 lockdown which slowed operations. The port is the busiest in sub-Saharan Africa. eNCA's Lethiwe Mdluli reports.
Trucks transporting cargo to the Durban port sometimes spend days trying to get in. There are also major operational issues inside the port. The World Bank has ranked South Africa's ports among the worst in the world, the Durban port being one of them. Transnet's managing executive for the Eastern region says the study might not accurately reflect the issues at the port.
The first reading really was when we were facing lockdown, where we were able only to move what we deemed as essential cargo. That had a direct impact. But we have since learned that we needed to improve how the process gets measured. We have ships that will be outside of the port of Durban, which ships are not necessarily coming to work in the port of Durban at that point in time waiting for instruction. But the system that is being used factors those ships in, even though they are not coming to the port of Durban. That then tends to skew the numbers.
Mdluli says Transnet is making progress in clearing up the backlogs with new interventions. He has encouraged that businesses that work with the entity pull their socks up as they've also been lagging behind.
We have seen a new problem where some of the facilities do not have enough equipment to handle the volume that ought to come through. Now we are beginning as an authority again to have conversations with them and say, how many pieces of equipment should you have? At what tempo should they perform? We have now realized that in some instances, maintenance have lagged behind. We have then as an authority set up a team that does an oversight on maintenance.
There's also the matter of privatization, which the private sector says will improve the state of the entity. But workers and unions are against this. Transport Union Satau says the move will do more harm than good.
We've had several meetings with the employer trying to find ways to rescue the entity, but the management was not honest and transparent enough to us in those meetings. That's the kind of people we are dealing with, unfortunately. And the management, they went ahead and sold 49% of PA2 in Durban, supported by the state, by the way. We found that very strange. The management is also not being honest enough to the public. It is not true that the entity cannot sustain itself. It is just an excuse that we are tired of. We also made it clear that the alleged corruption and maladministration that is said to be taking place at the entity has led us to where we are.
The Durban Business Chamber also recently wrote a letter to the Minister for Public Enterprises demanding the removal of top executives, citing Transnet poor performance. Lethiwe Mdluli, Durban.